Glacier.
News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Glacier Park climbing victim identified. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, September the 6th, 2016. Right now, the sky is partly cloudy. It's a chilly 36 degrees in Missoula. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by Selway Armory on Stockyard Road, with more guns and ammo than anyone in Missoula. The best prices in Montana. They are Montana's premier firearms dealer. Glacier National Park officials have released the name of a 56-year-old man who died in a fall last week while descending Mount Jackson. Dan Pilipow of Portage, Indiana, was climbing with his 27-year-old son last week when they fell. The son was able to stop his fall on a snowfield but was unable to locate his father. Searchers spotted Pilipow's body from a helicopter Wednesday, and a technical rescue team recovered his body Thursday. Park spokesman Tim Rain said Pilipow fell 80 to 100 feet after slipping. A Bozeman man who told police he was driving more than 100 miles an hour before crashing his car is charged with negligent homicide in the death of a 17-year-old passenger. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports Jacob Telefero Burrows made an initial appearance in Justice Court Friday, where Justice of the Peace Rick West set his bail at $50,000. Bozeman police say the speeding car struck a guardrail near the I-90 interchange with East Main about 10 p.m. Thursday night. The car overturned, killing Joseph Carnifex and injuring Burrows and a juvenile girl. Investigators determined the car was traveling just over 100 miles an hour, twice the posted speed limit. The Marcus Karma defense team has filed its final response to the Montana Supreme Court in its effort to gain a new trial for their client, who was convicted of deliberate homicide in 2015. Nate Holloway of the Paul Ryan firm in Missoula has been handling the appeals process with the court, as briefs and replies have been issued from each side. Last week, Holloway filed his final reply to the prosecution.
The Supreme Court now will decide how many justices will be part of the decision, and it most likely will be either 5 or 7, and also whether or not they're going to request or have oral argument.
Holloway said he believes the court's final decision could be handed down sometime in the following spring.
I would imagine that if there is oral argument, that could potentially change how long it will take to decide it. I can't be sure about that, but I would say early spring would be a reasonable timeline. Hopefully we'll be getting a decision, and obviously we're really hoping for a new trial here.
Karma is currently serving a 70-year sentence in the Montana State Prison after being convicted of deliberate homicide in the shotgun slaying of 17-year-old German exchange student Darren Day. Fire managers in Yellowstone Park are curious to find out why wildfires are burning so actively this summer in areas that burned back in 1988. The 1988 wildfires burned 36% of Yellowstone's 2.2 million acres. The park has seen wildfires every year since then, but fires that occurred in the 1988 fire scars have largely stayed in check. However, Yellowstone fire ecologist Becky Smith says fires this year are burning much more readily in the 1988 fire scars. One fire has burned about 60 square miles. To help find out why, the park has called in special federal teams that study fire behavior. Smith says fire managers see it as a learning opportunity on how and when the 1988 fire scars will now burn. The calendar has turned into September, so hunting seasons are underway in Montana. Education coordinator with Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks, Vivica Krauser, said archery season began with the start of the Labor Day weekend.
We're really surrounded by hunting and fishing seasons right now. It's that time of year. So we have archery season opening this weekend. That's a big one. We have some bird seasons already underway, some that will open a little bit later as we move into the fall.
Krauser says hunters are responsible for their own personal safety.
Boy, the weather's been hot. It's been dry, but those conditions can change so fast, as we all know. So kind of being prepared for anything and having those extra supplies in your pack, and then having a contact that will check up on you if you don't get back at the expected time.
Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks reports that nearly 10 million annual visitors to Montana represent 10 times the state's resident population and account for about 43,000 jobs for an economic impact of $2.7 billion a year. There's a link to the FWP website in our story, our newstalk.kgvo.com. May seem a bit early, but many healthcare providers are already offering flu shots in the Missoula area. Supervisor for Immunization Services at the Health Department, Sarah Heinman, said nationally, health officials are encouraging patients to get their flu shots early.
So CDC changed their recommendations just in the past couple years. Instead of waiting until the middle of fall or flu hits to get vaccinated, to start watching for a vaccine to be available, and as soon as it's available, to go and get your flu shot.
Heinemann said the vaccine should be sturdy enough to last through the entire flu season.
The thing with flu vaccine is that it only has 3 or 4 strains of the flu vaccine in it, and so if that's not the circulating strain that you happen to come in contact with, you can still get sick. So we do our best to predict the coming flu season, what vaccine manufacturers do, and try to get the strains that they think that will be circulating to offer the best protection.
Heinemann said one of the advantages of the Affordable Care Act was that flu vaccinations are fully covered in each policy. Republican Ryan Zinke is in the midst of a campaign to retain his seat in the House, but many are wondering if he plans on challenging Democrat John Tester for his Senate seat in the next 2 years. Here's how Zinke's answering that question.
My answer is this, is that it is absolutely important for Montana, I would say critical, to have a strong member in the House and that is able to work with both the senators or a senator on that side. You need both because the funding bills and everything starts in the House. It is not a good trade to have 2 senators and lose the House.
Although Zinke may not be involved in a Senate race, another Navy SEAL from Montana may challenge Tester. Zinke says he's had conversations with Rob O'Neill, the Navy SEAL now famous for shooting Osama bin Laden, about running.
I have. Rob has not said no. Right now Rob is on a tour and he's doing speeches and he's doing well, but it's come up and Rob has not said no. So we'll see.
Zinke also said he thinks O'Neill would have a better shot at beating Tester if he decides to run. And in a related story, Zinke has wrongly stated in 2 debates that 80% of terrorist attacks in a Central African conflict are carried out by children. Refugee resettlements have emerged as an issue in Montana's election campaigns with the recent arrival of a family who escaped war in Africa. Zinke has said the resettlement program should be suspended until a proper vetting process can be conducted. He illustrated his point in debates last week against Democratic challenger Denise Juneau, saying 4 or 5 terrorist attacks by the Islamic insurgent group Boko Haram are conducted by children. The report said nearly 1 out of 5 suicide bombers in that conflict are children. Campaign spokeswoman Heather Swift said Friday Zinke misspoke. Our news talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Low clouds and patchy fog this morning will give way to a mix of sun and clouds today. Showers are expected through the afternoon with our daytime highs topping out in the mid to low 60s. Tonight, low temperatures drop back into the 40s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.